Welcome back to the Pole Position. If you like what you see, then be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below about what you want to see next. You can follow me for updates on my Twitter and Instagram accounts, listed in the description below. We hear a lot about the US presidential election, which is unsurprising considering it's electing both the head of state and the head of government for the United States. But that is just one of many elections going on in the US in November, which all have their own effect on national politics. A key election that may decide the balance of power at the federal level is the elections for the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives is the lower chamber of the United States Congress, which is the legislative branch of the American government and holds huge sway over the policy direction of the country. Currently, the House is controlled by the Republican Party, which has a razor-thin majority after the last set of midterm elections, where Democrats generally overperformed against most general expectations, with many commentators expecting a so-called red wave that never properly materialized, with Republicans only picking up a net gain of 9 seats. The House is elected every 2 years on the first Tuesday of November, with an election every presidential election and every November halfway through the presidential term. The 2-year voting cycle is designed so the opposition has the ability to gain a majority and hold the president to account for the second half of their term. There are currently 435 voting members of the House, and they are elected primarily through the system of first past the post, with a certain number of single-member districts allocated to each state based on their population. However, some states like Alaska and Maine use a form of ranked choice voting, whereby voters list their preferences which transfer their vote to another preferred candidate, until one candidate reaches over 50%, should their top choice not come first or second. The last 2 years in the House have been marked by a term of turmoil, from a scandal-ridden representative being expelled, to the chaos surrounding the speakership that first led to the chaotic election of Kevin McCarthy, to his expulsion by the Democrats and some from his own party, to the chaos surrounding the second set of votes that finally led to Mike Johnson being elected Speaker in October of last year. Democrats are hoping to capitalize on this to win the House back, but they must be able to set their own factionalism aside, as many of their more left-wing elements are dissatisfied with the House Democratic leadership over some of the policies pursued by the administration, from issues around the economy to the situation in the Middle East. Predicting this race is tricky, as polling tends to focus on the wider national picture, whilst races often come down to the personality of the candidates running. But the generic ballot polls, which ask voters what party they prefer in Congress, generally show Democrats ahead by 2 or more points on average. It would not take a huge swing for the Democrats to flip the House, as Republicans would just need a net loss of 5 seats from the last general election, and they are facing a number of very tight races across the country, with battlegrounds from New York to California. The importance of this election cannot be understated. This is because whoever wins the presidency will need the backing of Congress in order to enact any serious reform or policy. This has been a hurdle for many recent presidents, with Biden, Trump, and Obama all losing control of the House in their first midterm election, and as a result, it became much harder for any major legislation to be passed by the incumbent party. The House elections are vital to both parties and presidential candidates. The jury's still largely out on who will win, as we are still a month away from the vote. Whether or not we will see a Democrat or Republican victory, it will certainly be an interesting set of results. But the House is only half the battle, as there is also the set of Senate races that will be the subject of my next video, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for further notifications so you can be the first to watch. I won't be making any final predictions for the election just yet, but they will be coming in early November, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you for watching, be sure to like and leave a comment below, As always, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.